Hey students, this is lesson 7.1. Our objective of this lesson is to write ratios and solve proportions. Here's a review of some things that we're going to use in this chapter. I'm going to go through this first. You can go through it and try and do these. Pause the video and check back with your answers. This is going to be part 1 of the video. If you know all these, you can skip this and just go to part 2 of the video. All right, we're going to use properties of parallel lines here, and I'd like to remind you of some of those properties so you don't forget them. But angle 1 is equal to 70 degrees, and that's because of the same side interior angles theorem. Angle 2 is equal to 110 degrees, and that's the corresponding angles postulate. Angle 3 is equal to 70 degrees, and that's because angle 3 and that 110 are a linear pair. And angle 4 is equal to 70 degrees, and that's because of the last problem and the corresponding angles postulate. All right, naming congruent parts. Triangle PAC is congruent to triangle DHL, complete congruent statements. PC would be congruent to segment DL. Angle H would be congruent to angle A. Angle PCA would be congruent to angle DLH. Triangle HDL would be congruent to triangle APC. All right, a review of triangle congruence here. Write a congruent statement for each pair of triangles. Explain why the triangles are congruent. Triangle, we could write it something like this. Triangle KPN is congruent to triangle LMN. And we would say, because of that, we have congruent angles there. So by that, vertical angle theorem and side angle side. All right, the second one, number 10. We could say in that one that triangle ABC is congruent to triangle EBD. And again, we have a vertical angle theorem giving us those two angles are congruent. I'll use that for that. And so we have angle, angle, side. So by vertical angle theorem and angle, angle, side. And the last one, we would have by reflexive property, UG is congruent to UG. So we can say that triangle hug is congruent to triangle bug, and that is by the reflexive property and side, side, side. All right, to review the mid-segments, if BC is equal to 12, BC being this whole thing right here, if that's 12, then BF is half of that, so that's 6. DE is the mid-segment, that's going to be half of BC also, so that's 6. If EF is 4.7 right here, then AD is the same as that, 4.7, and AC is twice that, so 9.4. All right, I'm going to stop this. That'll be the end of part 1, and then you can start part 2.